In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Off day, everyone. Nestor Licanto with another edition of In Full Zoom. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Asami Lee, who is the lead business development manager for Expedia Japan. Half a day, Asami.
Half a day, Nestor. Thanks for having me here.
Okay, first to set the table here, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what a lead business development manager does?
Sure. Well, I am right now based in Japan. We're working remotely, so currently in Nagoya in my parents' home, where I'm being well fed. What we do at Media Solutions is that we are an advertising arm for the Expedia Group, meaning that we work with our direct partners or clients who are not directly involved with our business, such as destination management organizations, to do marketing activities on our global platform, whether it's for Japanese audience or for our global audience. So we do have a lot of Japanese DMOs who wants to reach out to the rest of the world for inbound tourism, or clients such as Guam Visitors Bureau, who wants to reach out to Japan and or other users around the world. And at Media Solutions, that is my role to, as a business development, lead business development manager, to bridge these demand from our partners and clients to our users.
All right. And speaking of that, just recently you made a presentation for the GVB Digital Academy Workshop. Tell us a little bit about your presentation and what it was all about.
Sure. Yeah, it was such a pleasure to be invited for the Digital Academy and to represent such an important market as Japan for Guam. It was, it was actually kind of a pressure, but really enjoyed it. I actually learned new things myself as I dug deeper into how the market is performing right now. And what I presented was basically how the Japanese market is getting ready to travel to Guam. Now, it's really hard to be so specific right now because not many Japanese people are actively searching to go to Guam or anywhere outside of Japan, except for what they need wherever, if they have a specific need to go somewhere. So we had to look at data in different ways. And so we looked at demand for Guam overall, and then demand for international travels from Japan overall.
Yeah, and everyone has been saying because of this pandemic and everybody has not been able to travel, there is this huge pent up demand. Do you agree with that?
I definitely think so. I have it myself. I have, especially my colleagues and people who are around me who are avid travelers definitely have this pent up demand. For Japanese people in general, I believe there is that demand also. But also, Japanese people in general are very conservative and they're not much of a risk taker. So they really need that assurance from the Japanese government and also the destination that when they are ready to travel, that it is that there are a lot of precautions. There's a lot of measures that are taken to protect their safety.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the Guam Visitors Bureau is focused on, is creating an environment here where travelers can feel safe. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, I'm learning a lot about the certification that Guam is giving out to their partners, which definitely will be an assurance for the Japanese audience.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you found out about the Japanese travel tendencies? What sticks out?
Well, it really does the demand does match very well with whatever the government is regulating, whether it's for international or domestic travel. So when, let's say, state of emergency happens, like the state that we are in right now, we do see less demand for travel, even domestically. So people are really obedient here. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it's a trend that we do see, that whatever news comes out, it is reflected in the data right away. And that is exactly how we see.
As you mentioned, the Japanese traveler tends to follow what the government puts out, because the government is, of course, very trusted among the. And one of the things that we heard is that the Japanese government had initially, or has been, encouraging domestic travel first.
Exactly. Yes, there was a campaign. Well, it's actually on pause right now. It hasn't halted, but it's a program called Go To Travel, where Japanese government was enticing Japanese people to travel domestically with a government-funded discount. It was a big hit. We saw demand for domestic travel, even though a lot of people recognize our brands, Expedia Japan and Hotels.com Japan, as more of an international travel website. We were seeing, well, we are marketing a lot of domestic travel these days, obviously, but we were seeing great number of folds in demand. The search numbers were soaring, and it was a huge success as far as reviving the travel industry while it lasted. And then, unfortunately, we saw some spikes in COVID cases around the country related. I mean, there's no way for us to know whether it's directly related to the campaign. But the government took the measure to halt it for a little while. We don't know when it's coming back. And with that, it's quiet down. Now, with that said, the program was put on pause end of December last year. And since then, we initially saw a big drop. However, it's already been 5 months since the pause. And so we are seeing more. This is more really of that pent up demand that we were originally talking about. People just want to travel, whether it's, close by their neighborhood, microtourism, or domestically to go to Okinawa for a family trip or something like that. And we are starting to see that demand pick up.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Yeah, presenting Guam as a safe place to come from the virus is, of course, a given now. But are there any other things that we should be doing to attract the Japanese traveler once they do become comfortable traveling again?
Yes, we are always recommending that that destinations need to be on top of mind. Obviously, when the gates are opened, the travelers are free to, once they're free to go anywhere, they will go anywhere. But what will make them choose Guam is that Guam needs to be on top of mind, whether it's individual properties doing some marketing on our website or outside, or doing social media kind of campaign. I feel like keeping up with marketing is definitely important. Now, with that said, budget is tight in this industry right now. The cash flow has halted for a long time. So I'd say, choose wisely. When there is no direct conversion that is available, then do some free marketing, whether it's through your social channel, something that you can do organically. And then when I guess as a Guam, maybe you'll have, if you're a Guam property or tour provider, you may have more insider information than the Japanese public. And so if you are preparing for bookings to come in at a specific timing, then focus more on conversion or reach out to people who are going to start, really reach out for the relevant audience who are ready to start traveling again, or who has shown interest in traveling internationally. And so with that, you need to start, digital probably is the best way, and to target these specific people.
Yeah, is Expedia expect? What is Expedia's expectation? Once we do get past all of the vaccinations and that sort of thing, health wise, will it be a slow progression? Will it be a huge spike? Most people seem to think that it will take a number of years, and it will be kind of a slow progression to get back to where we were before the pandemic, because as I'm sure you're aware, Guam was on a record pace prior to COVID. So what is Expedia's projections once we get going again?
So I cannot say for Japan market specifically, but what we are seeing as a pattern is around the world where vaccinations are, the countries are really pushing vaccinations, and a good portion of the population is vaccinated, such as US mainland. We are seeing just like an instant revival. People want to travel and go see their friends who they haven't seen in a long time. And so we are seeing just really explosion. Also, even at APAC level, whenever travel bubbles are announced, there's a huge spike. Search demands and booking demands both spike, obviously, for the first couple of weeks, and then it will settle a little bit, and then what do you call it? Singapore and Hong Kong has canceled their travel bubble for the third time, which is really unfortunate. So it's really important that the products that people book are cancelable, that there are some flexible plans. But as far as demand goes, when the restrictions are loosened and travel is recommended, that we expect that the numbers will come soaring. It won't be super slow.
Well, that's actually very good to hear. Do you think the Japanese government as well will be encouraging its citizens to take foreign overseas trips?
Well, I couldn't speak for that. I hope that they would. I know that there are a lot of travel agencies in Japan who have been suffering here too, and I know that they are working with the government to ensure a quick recovery in the international travel industry also. But how soon and how aggressive, we still don't know quite yet when that will be. Mm-hmm.
Speaking
Hopefully.
of Japanese, yes, absolutely.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Speaking of Japanese travel agencies, that had been initially when Guam first got into the tourism industry. That was kind of the norm for the Japanese market, was package tours, and then we started to see the FITs, the free and independent travelers, that kind of trending. What do you see when we make this comeback? Will it be the traditional package tour, or will there be more FITs?
So this is actually really timely, because we were just talking internationally about travel agencies. Obviously, with COVID, a lot of the world, including Japan, who's been really digitally slow, have turned digital. People are more digitally savvy. Even elderly people are now forced to go online to book their COVID vaccines. And so people are getting more and more used to doing digital. So we are expecting our platforms like us, OTAs, to grow in the user age range demographic, which is wonderful. But also at the same time, as people start to get curious about traveling internationally, they're going to want more information, and information about which destinations are recommended, which destinations the travel agencies feel are safe, and for what reason. And so in that sort of a way, we expect that there will be significant number of people who wants to go and physically or at least in person inquire directly, so that they could have this communication of getting all the questions out and being reassured verbally. So we think that travel agencies definitely will survive and thrive. They just have to have really good information about the destination that they are going to be recommending.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to plug Expedia. I think everybody, most travelers are familiar with Expedia. It's been around a long time. It's a huge online travel agency. But tell us a little bit more about Expedia.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So Expedia, yes, I'm so glad that I'm talking to Guam, because we are an American company and we have quite a great brand recognition. Other than Expedia, at Expedia Group, we operate over 20 different brands, including vacation rental called Verbo, and hotels.com, which is also a big brand. Big brand that is recognized across Asia Pacific and EMEA, Europe, and obviously in USA we have other brands like Travelocity and Orbitz, to mention a few. We also, as Media Solutions is one of the department of Expedia Group, we serve ads not just on our directly operated brand sites, but we are able to reach people who have left our site, because as everybody, as a traveler, knows that when you are searching for travel, that you're not 100% on websites like Expedia. We go to OTAs, and then we drift off into social media or any other blog post to do more research about the destination. And at Media Solutions, we're able to track users across their travel journey. And so that's that's a plug, and then I wasn't really prepared for it, so I'm kind of blabbling, but
no, you're doing quite well.
Thank you. So at any point, whether even right now, when Guam is not 100% ready to accept all FIT travelers without restriction, and Japan also people are not able to travel and come back without restriction, because there is a 14-day quarantine required here, self-quarantine that is required here. Even so, there are audiences that can be reached that are relevant, and that's what we do, and that's what these are the audience that we'd like to help reach for you, so that you are not wasting your marketing money, you are not wasting anything, because right now people's time is valuable, people's money, the company's money is valuable, and we just really hate to see people spending a lot of marketing that is irrelevant right now. So just reach out to us so we could help. Maybe it's not directly my department, but definitely happy to help anybody who is who wants to start welcoming, or who wants to be ready to welcome guests from anywhere around the world, not just Japan, anywhere.
Well said.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Reintroduce Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus, gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
I wanted to get back to reopening of the tourism
Sure.
industry. You need all those certain elements in place, right? You need the hotels to be ready. You need the airlines to dedicate the equipment, and you need the travel agencies and the Expedia type organizations ready to book those travelers. Do you see that happening? That synchronicity happening fairly quickly? Is everybody ready?
Is everybody ready? From what we see is that as pattern around the world is we see it's more airlines that are that do the initial push of opening up the route, and then hopefully with that the government follows. And then as far as travel agencies, whether online or offline, we're waiting for these signs of opening up. And to be completely cutthroat here is that we are a business that wants to sell what sells. We want to sell what customers want, and so there has to be a demand. Of course, when we see green shoots of demand, then we will push for it. We'll dig into it, and then we'll try to maximize that demand and grow it. But the first initial step has to come from the destination and the governments working together and create that initial spark of demand. And then the retails will follow. I say that not as a marketer, I say that as OTA as a whole, or as a travel product sellers. So I think that that is going to be really important. I hope that governments can be in sync, and airlines can keep on opening up routes so that people could go places.
As we kind of wind down this conversation, I wanted to ask you, will there be any fundamental or lasting changes to the tourism and travel industry as a result of this pandemic?
Well, I said it on the webinar also, but who would have thought that people want to see that you are cleaning your property well enough? Who wanted to see that there's plastic sheets across whatever to protect as part of the marketing. Like a whole marketing scheme, but that is becoming a standard right now. Who is to know whether if that is going to be a standard 2 years from now? But at least for now, that's there. What's sticking right now is that people are wanting to know more and more in one place, and so it's really important that properties, also any kind of tourism providers, have a lot of content available digitally, more than what you might think you want, because a lot of people are asking a lot of questions and they really want to know a lot. So that is definitely there to stick. Just demand for more and more content, and good quality content and good quality pictures.
All right, final question, the most important one to the Guam Visitors Bureau and to the tourism industry on Guam. Does Guam still fit into the Japanese outbound tourism picture? And when do you think we're going to start seeing that rebound that everybody's hoping for?
Sure. So as of right now, unfortunately, we don't see Guam as a top searched destination in the Japan point of sale, but that is pretty expected. Right now, what we see is people who are searching to go places because they need to, whether to see their family or if it's like an urgent work thing, is what we are seeing. But eventually, when the borders are open, I don't see why not Guam come back at the top spot in the leisure travel destination. The distance has not changed. You are a quick access from Japan, just only an hour or two away further than Okinawa, which is wonderful. And so and so yes, I think that there is a spot for Guam in Japanese people's travel destination. I am more than just hopeful about it. I am sure that Guam will be.
That's so good to hear. Fantastic information. Thank you so much. Asami Lee is the lead business development manager for Expedia Japan. Thanks for being our guest this week.
Nestor, thank you so much.
All right. Nestor Licanto reporting for another edition of In Full Zoom. We'll see you again next week, everybody.
Thank you.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.